got to get to the point where enough is enough is enough. You know, you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, where you're like, oh, I have to make a change. That's when most people make changes, is that they put themselves in a corner where they had to make a change. Well, for me, I put myself in a corner where I had an opportunity to make a change. I could have gone back, and I almost did.
What if the belief that's holding you back in life was actually planted before you could even talk? In today's episode, I have a high-performance mindset coach, Mr. Curtis McCullom, that reveals how a subconscious belief from actually age 2 silently sabotaged his success for decades, even after becoming the #1 salesperson in his company. From corporate burnout to personal tragedies, Curtis faced the ultimate test, actually when he lost his son. But instead of breaking down, he broke through. Now, Curtis helps top-performing CEOs and entrepreneurs to reprogram their minds and shatter the invisible blocks that strategy alone can't fix. He shares his life-changing mindset, the truth about imposter syndrome, and how to install new beliefs using his Bespoke Daily Mental Supplements, making a huge change in minutes, not years. If you've ever felt stuck or sabotaged or silently unsure of your worth, this conversation might change everything for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Curtis McCullom of Bespoke Human Potential Coaching. Thanks for being here. I so appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's my pleasure to kind of share my story and what it means to me to actually help individuals on a day-to-day basis, and just to try to get that out. And your show is a great show and opportunity to kind of share with the world, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're already having great conversations before we hit record. So I'm looking so forward to this. But please kick us off. Tell everybody a bit about yourself and about Bespoke Human Potential Coaching.
Well, basically, I've been doing this for about 35 years. What I do right now, Wayne, is I help high-level individuals and CEOs and founders and entrepreneurs kind of eliminate the subconscious blocks, what I call blind spots, with some rapid tools. I mean, like, instead of, sometimes people go to therapy. Well, I'm not kicking therapy, but one of the things that we do fast is that instead of we're talking about it, we actually help people make massive transformations quickly so they can have greater income, more clarity, more peace. And basically, we help our clients to kind of lead to the best version of themselves without burnout or sabotage. So that's kind of what I do, man. It's like I work with individuals and I work with groups to kind of share with them what is it, what's in their subconscious mind that's actually preventing them from actually going to the next level.
Nice. Helping leaders, high-performing performers figure out what is preventing them from going to the next level. What would you say is the difference between your type of coaching and therapy, now that you brought it up?
Well, basically, number one, I'm looking for rapid results. And what I do different is we're looking for the root cause of a problem versus the problem. When a client comes to me, or when a person comes to me, they come with a presenting issue. Like an example would be is like they have an income block, right? And then most of the time, a person says, "Okay, do more work, do more of this, get more appointments." Well, that probably is not the problem. The problem could be a subconscious block that they adopted or accepted and decided when they were 5 years old.
Wow.
When they went into the store and their parents told them, "We can't afford this," or "Money doesn't grow on trees." And so that belief and that thought has still been trailing them all of their life. Then they get up to the point where they want to break through, they want to make $100,000, and they remember this thought, money is hard. Money is not good. And so what I do, instead of looking at the issue of I want to break through 100,000 and try to give them more strategies for that, let's clear it up so that now you just break right through it and keep selling.
Nice. I love that. You're going for rapid transformation, right? I think a lot of times individuals aren't aware of what's blocking them, right? How do you get to
Yes.
the bottom of it so that you can even start to rapidly transform? Because it feels to me like it's going to be a very long process, always.
No, 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 no. Basically, what we normally do, and that's a good question. What we normally do, I spend, if they're going through a breakthrough session with me on a personal level, what I do, we spend about 2.5 hours in my first session. And what we're doing in that first session is figuring out what is the greater problem. See, what I believe in my philosophy is that you have problems, you have presenting issues, but there is a greater problem that's actually blocking all the other problems, like a domino effect. So if we can get rid of the first domino, then everything else will fall in line. So once we figure out that they come to me and says, "Hey, I have a block," and then we'll talk a little bit about their personal history and figure out that they have a feeling of being unworthy. Just an example. So now the unworthy is actually the problem that is now showing up with a lack of income, with intimacy at home, with all of these things that could be a presenting issue. Then what we do, I utilize another technology or modality, what we call mental and emotional release, which takes about 10 minutes per feeling or emotion like guilt, sadness, anger. 10 minutes, we wipe it out. They have a new belief and we install it. And then I condition it over time through hypnotherapy and what I call a bespoke daily mental supplement to kind of help kind of massage that new feeling and those new actions so they can take really massive action. So it's not long. Most of it's powerful, really. It's phenomenal what happens and with a short period of time.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely phenomenal to me, right? That you can so quickly not even just, dare I say, diagnose people, help them figure it out, but then give them these exercises or practice to rewire their thinking.
Yes.
Take us back. How did you first get into this space? Like, what even triggered your interest in it?
Well, kind of going back, you asking me, when I started. I started about 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I wanted to be the number one. I wanted to be a motivational speaker. So I studied all the greats at that time: Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, Jim Rohn, and I had a library. I had a library, a university on wheels because I was in sales. I was an insurance salesperson, and so I would drive around and listen to these tapes. So within a short period of time, because I wanted to have a story, I just didn't want to say have this book knowledge or this empirical knowledge. I wanted to know that it actually worked. So I joined a company. Within a year and a half, I was the number one person in the company. That fast, really quick. Wow. And life got in the way because I didn't realize I had a personal blind spot that prevented me from going to the next level. And so that blind spot actually trailed with me for years until I started utilizing some of these technologies that I use now, where one was I think it was, I kept saying that success is hard and difficult. Success is hard and difficult. And so I noticed that every time I would reach a plateau, I became number one in the world, and immediately I sabotaged. Mm-hmm. Then I was in the top 10, 15% of my companies doing over $1 million in sales. And then my wife came to me and says, "Wow, Curtis, this is so easy for you." I looked at her. I said, "You don't understand. This is extremely hard for me to do because success is hard and difficult." Fast forward, when a few months ago, I'm helping all these individuals getting these breakthroughs. And I mean rapid breakthroughs. And their life is changing rapidly in front of my eyes. And I look at myself and like, okay, but I'm not having a success that I really want to have. What is it? But what came coming up, Wayne, was success is hard and difficult. And so I had a buddy of mine online, and we did a session of MER on that belief: success is hard and difficult. And then what it did, with MER, what it does, it asks what is the root cause, the first event, in which once we figure that out, will allow us to let it go easily and effortlessly. And so the first event that came up to my subconscious was I was 2, that this hard and difficult belief was installed. Well, we did the MER less than 10 minutes. We figured it out. And I got new learnings from that I'm persistent, I'm strong, and I'm courageous. Well, I was curious. So I called my mom. I says, Mom, what was happening in my life around age 2? This is the way she said it. You remember I told you that the belief was success is hard and
Yeah.
difficult. She says, oh, baby, oh, when you were around 18 months, your sister was being born, and I needed for you to be potty trained quickly. This is what she said. And it was hard and difficult for you to be potty trained at 18 months. So this belief, this belief of success is hard and difficult has been with me since the age of 2. That's kind of the work we do. We figure out what is the root cause of it, because I didn't even realize that I had a personal blind spot until I still wasn't reaching the levels I wanted to reach. And so I did some work on myself.
Good, right? The work on ourselves can be the most important, clearly. But what an interesting answer that it's been, you say 40 years in the making, right? Until you reach
Yeah.
where you are today. And so you were talking about that you were actually in corporate sales before becoming, a high performance coach, if I can call you that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
it took a pivot. And so, you were crushing it in sales, top 10%,
Yes.
1% of your company, but it sounds like you were
Yes.
almost burning out. Like what snapped? What triggered you to actually start to make change and go a different direction?
What happened was about 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a position now to retire. I'm now 60. I just turned 61 a few days ago, in June. And so uh, I came to my wife, and we're in a position that I could retire. I didn't have to do that, even though I love doing it, but it was still a grind for me. And so she's like, hey, won't you just do what you've always wanted to do? Help people transform their lives. And so what I did was, at that point, I got an executive. I became certified as an executive coach. Was doing the coaching like traditional coaching. I'm like, man, this is not it. This is not what I was doing when I was number one and when I was doing what I was doing. So then I went back and I got a certification as I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist with a specialty in medical support hypnotherapy. I'm also a master practitioner in neurolinguistic programming. That's the stuff that Tony Robbins does. And also I'm a master practitioner in mental and emotional release. So when I got all of these modalities together, I says, wow, that's it. That's what I'm looking for, because now I can actually coach a person on a holistic basis, not just a coach. I'm definitely a transformational coach.
Yeah, definitely a transformational coach. And so it sounds like you got to the point in the sales game that you were ready to retire. And so it wasn't necessarily that while you were doing sales, something snapped. It was, dare I say, a birth of a second career of following your actual passion, what you're meant to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Basically, it came to a point where, like I said, it came to a point where I could retire. It's like this, and this is probably a lot of people experience this, is that we are good at what we do. I mean, I was good at what I did. I mean, I was coaching individuals. I was a sales manager when I retired, and I was good, and I could sell, and I can do it. I can close all of these things. I was really good at what I did, but it wasn't me. It wasn't authentically me. And then once the opportunity, because sometimes we're afraid to make changes to actually to be who we really are, and so when I had an opportunity to just quit, I mean just stop and just focus directly on this, that's kind of what my change came in at.
You just said that some people are afraid to make changes. My understanding
Yes.
is that, we can't force people to change, and they have to want to change and be willing to change before you can even help them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So if people are afraid to change, but that's the first step is wanting to change yourself before you can make anything happen. How do we get people over that fear of change so they can actually start to move forward?
I think the first step is still it's on them. I mean, I think it's been said, like I think Zig Ziglar said, or someone said, it's like you got to get to the point where enough is enough is enough. You know, you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, where you're like, oh, I have to make a change. That's when most people make changes, is that they put themselves in a corner where they had to make a change. Well, for me, I put myself in a corner where I had an opportunity to make a change. I could have gone back, and I almost did. I mean, I was almost like, oh, okay, this is what I do. This is what I love doing. Let me just jump back in there and just do what I've always done. But I made the step, like, okay, that's enough of that. And because I was licensed, man, I had every securities license that were out there. I'm certified. I'm also certified as a certified financial planner, CLU, CFFC, Series 6, Series 7, 63. So when I made that change, I decided, when a person decides, this is the key. I said, I'm not going to renew my license. So that's big, because to get securities licenses is extremely difficult. And so making that decision, deciding, I think Napoleon Hill talks about that. The first step of any change is you make a decision that this is my time right here, right now, and I'm not going to stop until.
Yeah. To make the decision, this is my time. I won't stop until I change.
This is it.
But Curtis, I'm afraid. How do I get over this fear so I can actually decide to make change happen?
Basically, this is the thing, all right? So if you have made a decision now to want to make a change, then my job as a coach is to now figure out what is it that you're afraid of. Right, you know, because fear is real. I mean, well, it's false evidence appearing real. So it's not really real, but it's real to us based on our perception of the world. So once a person says, I want to change, this is the thing, this is the difference now. I want to change, but I'm afraid to change. Then I don't really want to change and I'm afraid to change, right? That's a different type of energy. I want to, and I'm willing to get help to move to the next level because I really, truly want to. To me, that's an indication of a person who really wants to, who not only state it, but then say, hey, I want to do something about it.
Okay, interesting. I like it. So it is a actual, called a conviction, the energy behind wanting to change.
Yeah.
So as long as you
Oh, yeah.
have the desire, even if you're afraid to, you don't know how to, you just need to have the absolute conviction. I've made the decision. I want to change and now I'm ready to accept help.
Yes, that's the key. That is the key. And those are the type of people I like to work with. You know, one of the questions I always ask is like, you know, where are you on a continuum of 1 to 10 been wanting to change? And if they say, I'm about a 3, I'm like, all right, great. When you get it 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, come back to see me because I don't work with 3s.
No, absolutely not. That's a recipe for failure, recipe for disaster. Curtis, you've worked with a lot of high performers and CEOs. What's one limiting belief that you find recurring between a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of these high performers?
Believe it or not, I think is money. Basically, is being able to break through that barrier to get to the next level of making the type of money that they truly want to make. And usually, but it comes in a lot of different forms, a lot of different shapes. But usually, one of the major challenges that people have is money, or another one is not feeling worthy or not feeling good enough, the imposter syndrome type thing. Those are the couple of things that I find that happens a lot.
Overarching, a lot of them are struggling with limiting beliefs around money or imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And I just wrote an article that's coming out, I think next week. Is that this is a powerful one. It probably might scare some people, but I was born and raised in the church. My dad was a fire and brimstone preacher, and one of the major things that that I accepted and decided, or being grown up in that environment, that I was not worthy, even though I should have been felt like I was, because they tell you every day, every Sunday and every Wednesday, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're a bad child, you're a bad child of God. So even though they think they're doing something good, what they're actually doing is implanting limiting beliefs that or money is bad, and if a camel can go through an eye of a needle, then a rich man can go to heaven or whatever. All these beliefs that we have installed when I was doing that session. So a lot of things like that are installed in ways and in means that people have no idea where they actually accepted or decided that belief.
Wow. This interesting example, even then coming from the church, where of course, right, the underlying message is love and acceptance and coming from a servant's heart, although they're still accidentally instilling all these limiting beliefs. So it goes to show like anybody can have them. Huh?
Basically, this is the thing. Wayne. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have them. We all have blind spots. Now, the difference between one individual and the next is that, is your blind spot or is your limiting belief preventing you from getting what you want? So if I'm a multimillionaire and I'm making all the money, even though I might have a limiting belief of money, but I'm still getting what I want, so it's not stopping me from actually breaking through. Now, if I'm starting out in entrepreneurship and I need to break through the $100,000 barrier, and I get about 80,000 and I sabotage 80,000, I sabotage 70,000, I sabotage and never can break through that $100,000 now, and I want to, I have a great desire to break through. That's different, because now that limiting belief is preventing me from actually going to the next level. So we all have blind spots. It's like, but is your blind spot preventing you from getting what you want? And that's the key to it. Is it now stopping you from becoming the best version of yourself?
How do we know, though, if we have a blind spot that is stopping us from becoming the best version of ourselves, from becoming the next version of ourselves?
Well, basically, because when you looked at yourself in the mirror, you're like something. This is what normally happens. Like something is just preventing me. This language, the language that we actually use, something is preventing me from moving forward. Something is stopping me. I really want to do this. I really want it. I mean, I have a truly desire to have it, but I can't break through. That's kind of usually, I mean, it's like, when it's like, okay, I want this. I'm trying. I'm doing all the things that everybody's telling me to do, right? I'm making all the calls. I'm doing all the posts. I'm doing everything else. So what is it that's actually stopping me from making through? And usually it's something that, like I shared with the audience earlier, for me, was success is hard and difficult. Wow. And that was stopping me.
Why do you think it is that so many entrepreneurs and high performers are actually secretly struggling inside?
That's a great question, number one. I think it's because we are afraid that if we share with the world that we are struggling, then they will feel like that we are a failure. Meaning like, it's like, so, and that's the challenge that we have now, right? Everybody, when you go on if you go on the internet and on social media, everybody's doing fantastic. Really? I mean, really? Come on. And so but I don't mind sharing my story, because through my challenges that I've experienced now, and you can get some learning. Like, I go through the same stuff that you go through. Even though I know all of this stuff, every day I get up and I have to make sure that I do my meditation. I have to make sure that I keep my head on straight. I have someone that they sometimes have to talk me off of a ledge, because it's so important. It's not like this is a one and done and we're done with it. It's like, it's okay, guys. That's one of the major things that I tell people all the time. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to not to be okay and kind of hide it. That's the challenge, because that will drive you crazy. But I tell people the first thing an individual needs is to acknowledge the fact that I'm not okay. and that's okay. Now we can work with you. So I think it's the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of if I tell you this, that I'm gonna look like I'm a failure. I'm gonna look like, that I'm not successful. Well, you're still successful. You just got an area in your life that you need to work on. And that's all.
It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay
Yeah.
to not be okay and pretend like you are okay.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm gonna steal that from you, man.
You're the one that said it, Curtis. You're the one that said it. And amazing. Also, I've never heard it put that way. But let me ask you your opinion on this, right? Because we now live in the age of AI and of
Yes.
virtual thought leaders, influencers. We basically don't know what's real and what's fake anymore online, right?
Oh, true. Absolutely.
Because of that, transparency and honesty is more important than ever, right? And
Yes.
so, what do you think about the argument that by being open about your flaws and the facts that you're not okay, it's actually going to do more for you than if you appeared as if you were perfect?
Because a person is always looking for someone who's authentic. And when you appear to a person, because like you said before, you don't even know. Sometimes you're typing something and then all of a sudden you know that you're talking to a bot. Like, what the heck? It's like, so it's like, my position is this, Wayne, is like, I'm looking for people who are looking for me. And if I can be authentic with my audience and let them know that I'm there for them, I understand some of the challenges that they're going through, and it's okay.
Mhm.
And I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking for true honesty. I mean, they're really tired of these bots and stuff. I mean, not that I don't use some of them in some areas of my life and some areas of my coaching, because it is important, because now I can do things quicker, faster than I ever have before. But at the end of the day, I have to show up in the authentic version of myself so that my clients and the people around me see me for who I am and like, wow, that's what I want to be a part of, kind of gravitate to that honesty and that authenticity.
I hope that's something that everybody can truly hear and rewind back if they need to. That if the man that is certified in every coaching method that there is, to call it even for people that are less familiar, every therapy strategy, right, is still saying like it's so important to be authentic and show, dare I say, our weaknesses. It's more important
Yeah.
than ever, right? This is the man to listen to and to actually start sharing, right? It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay not to be okay and play like you are okay.
It's like that you are okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you think that entrepreneurs underestimate how much inner work it actually takes to become our best selves?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I truly believe that, and this is my belief. You can take it, leave it, and throw it in the trash. But this is what I believe is that we have to approach our mindset just like we approach a daily hygiene, brushing our teeth, taking a bath. We have to approach our mindset the same way because we are bombarded with so much junk all day, every day, that it's so important that we guard our minds. There's a passage in the Bible in the book of Proverbs that says, guard your mind. It's like protect your heart because out of it flows the issues of life. So it's so important that we almost, and that verse kind of carries the ideal of put a garrison around our minds because of the fact that that's what controls everything we do. So in entrepreneurship, it's so important that you work on your mind and protecting your thoughts, protecting your ideas, because of the fact that all this stuff can easily seep in. I'm going to tell you what me and my wife do every day. If we're watching television, we have the remote control in our hands, and every time pharmaceutical commercial comes on, we mute the televisions because what they're doing is people don't understand that's a subtle way of programming to make you feel like everybody is sick and it's okay to take medications. And so those little subtle things like that, you might say, well, oh, Curtis, that's small. Yeah, but that's large because of the fact that because I'm fortunate, and me and my wife are both fortunate. And like I said, I just turned 61. I don't take any medications. I work out 3 days a week. I walk 5 to 10,000 steps every day. So that is the other stuff that I do to make sure that I stay physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy. So what I'm saying is that people underestimate that part of it. And usually that might be the one part that's actually stopping you or preventing you from becoming who you truly want to be.
What a nice simple tip. There's a lot of these seemingly small things going on in our day-to-days that add up and are actually big and are reprogramming our subconscious to, dare I say, make us sick.
Yeah. And that's true. It does.
Yeah.
It's like these small little things. I mean, if you look at these commercials, I don't want to dwell on this, but think about it. You got a commercial. First of all, the first question is, why are they offering pharmaceuticals that you cannot go out and buy?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just go to the local drugstore and buy it. So the first question is, why are they doing that? Then the second question should be is, why are they advertising them with music, with dancing, with jingles, with comedians, with all of these people? Why? It's because what happens is when the music comes on and the dancing is happening, we go into a quick trance, meaning our critical mind relaxes for a moment. And while they're doing all that, have you ever heard the end of those commercials? Yeah. Then they're going to dump in da 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 da, and you still forget that part because you're still hung up and still high on the dancing and all the music. So they do that for purpose, and that's really to kind of, in my opinion, this is mean that keep us sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or thinking about sickness.
Dare I say, brainwashing?
Yeah.
Is.
Yeah, it is the part of it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That, I practice hypnotherapy, and always some people call it woo-woo. I says no. What hypnotherapy does, it allows you now to take back control of your mind and understand how programming truly works. Instead of you being programmed by other things out there, now you see it coming. Now you can prevent it, stop it, and now you can program the way you want to be programmed versus somebody else programming you.
Wow. I love that. Curtis, you are an expert high performance coach, a expert in mindsets, mentality, and doing inner work. What are some of your daily habits, weekly habits that you do to continuously keep working on yourself?
That's a good one. And that's funny. What was happening was, and me and my wife had this conversation just last night. I had stopped doing all the things sometimes I was telling my clients to do. And so what I had to do is to start back doing what I've always done, meditating. And so I create what I call daily mental supplements. These are shorter meditations that I give my clients. So what happens in a session, we were talking about a session earlier today, earlier in our meeting, is that doing all of this breakthrough work, there are affirmations and new beliefs that my clients have come up with. And so what I do, I take all of that data down, and then I create a meditation with their words that now they can listen to on a daily basis to help condition that new belief. Well, Curtis stopped doing that. And it started to show up. And then my wife was saying, Curtis, you know what to do. You know how to do it. You know how you became successful. And so I had to start back like everyone else. I created a daily mental supplement for myself. And I now listen to it. It's about 12 minutes long. 12 minutes is not a lot. And basically I start to listen to it to now to get back in the practice of actually helping protect my mind. Now I'm always reading, I'm always studying, I'm always doing all this stuff all the time anyway. But that's one of the practices that I had stopped doing that started to affect my personal behavior. So, like all transparency, like I said, this is work that you have to be willing to do. And for time, I stopped, and now I went back to it, and now that's what I do. That's one of the things that I do. I create what I call daily mental supplements, and I listen to a meditation with my voice, and with the things that I need to help me move forward to the next level.
It's great. I love to hear when an expert like yourself can share that, you fell off of the wagon of doing the
Yeah.
correct habits day in and day out. But what's most important is that you realized it and you got back on.
Yes. And that's that, and basically that's what it's all about is, and that's what I try to teach my clients, and I share with my clients is that, I'm going to give you the tools. The whole idea is that I truly believe that a person shouldn't have to come to me for life, right? The whole ideal is me keep giving you tools so that you can actually ignite the inner resources within you to continue to work on yourself. Now, every once in a while, you might need an outside view, just like me. I call my buddy. He's an expert in what I do, and I says, "Hey, man, I need your point of view so you can help me." It's like a heart surgeon, right? A heart surgeon don't want to operate on themselves.
Yeah.
They want to call somebody else in to do it. And so sometimes that happens that they need me again. But for the most part, like I did, I immediately knew what I needed to do and jumped back on and just kind of keep going. Just like working out or exercising, you stop exercising for a few weeks, you see it start coming around your waist. You says, "Oh shoot, let me do what I know I need to do. Let me clean up my eating. Let me get back to working out three to 4 days a week. Let me do my walking," that kind of thing.
It's amazing. And then I love these daily mental supplements that you mentioned. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's actually, so it's based off of the calls and work that you're doing with clients, and then you're pulling out literally the words that they're using about themselves or about maybe their blocks, and then you're
Yes.
reframing them so that they can listen to them day in and day out.
Yeah. I call them bespoke daily mental supplements. And what we do is exactly what you said is like during a session, they're going to come up with some new learnings. I'm going to say learnings.
Yeah.
Like one, like I said before, like one for me was I'm persistent, strong, and courageous. That's a learning that I got from the fact that I was, success is hard and difficult. So now, if I put that in a daily mental supplement, I might even create a sacred place for them. One of my clients says, "Hey, I like to walk on the jetty and with my dog, and the waves are crashing against the rocks, and as I move, and I'm in a relaxed state." So I might start it out like that. Okay, now see and sense yourself walking on the jetty. Your dog is chasing you, and you have this feeling of being calm. And now, then do some type of relaxation, and then we'll drop all of these new beliefs and thoughts that they want to reframe and they want to rewire their mind with. We saturate their mind with their thoughts, their feelings, their words, and that's the most powerful. Wow, it's really good.
All right, I love that. These bespoke daily mental supplements. Is there a way that
Yeah.
a listener, right, if they're thinking this through, is there a way that they can either create a bespoke daily mental supplement for themselves, or what's the easiest way also for them to come get it done through you?
No, basically, obviously, when I do it, I'm gonna have a more different perspective than what they're gonna see, obviously, but they can do it themselves.
Mm.
It's basically now allowing themselves when they have something happen in their life, and they need to reframe it, right? And part of it is being able to write an affirmation, a way an affirmation should be written, which is in like first person, future tense, already has been done or already been completed. So an example of that is that if a person says, "I want to make money," it's not like I want to make $100,000 next year. No, it's like I make $100,000 now. It's like you're putting it in the positive instead of in the past tense or something like that. So basically, they should have to know the formula of making sure that the affirmation is something that's gonna, so that the subconscious mind now can accept it as something that's already real and now. Sometimes what has to happen, if it's too big for the subconscious mind to prevent it from fighting it, if they've never made $100,000 before, if they tell them, says, I'll make $100,000, and their subconscious mind or their critical factor says, you know, BS, 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 it fights
Yeah.
it. So basically, if you put what we call a kuwei in front of it, like every day and every way, I'm getting more and more closer to making over $100,000 a year. So now it bypasses that critical faculty in the subconscious mind and allow that person to actually absorb that new belief without fighting it. So yeah, I mean, then they just relaxing and kind of going through it. Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Did you say that was called a Kuwait?
A Kuwei, I think the doctor name was Dr. Kuwei, and Dr. Kuwei basically came up with or sometimes when a person, when an affirmation is sometimes too big for a person to actually accept it. So he came up with like, with every day and every way I'm getting better and better. That was kind of one of what they call a Kuwei. And so it's funny is that when my daughter was born, I was going for number one. You remember I told you that story, and I was going for number one. Well, that year my daughter was born. She was born a little bit premature, and so every day I would go to the hospital and hold her little fingers. She was like with the tubes and stuff, and I would just pronounce to her. Every time I would come in, her heartbeat would strengthen, and she would just have this different posture. And I would whisper to her, every day in every way, you're getting better and better. Every day in every way, you're getting better and better. And they thought she was going to be in there for a few months. She was in there for a few weeks, and she was much better. So basically, because the subconscious mind was already working, even even in a newborn, and she felt it. And so every time I would come in, she felt my energy, and obviously help her heal faster and easier than ever before.
Amazing. Amazing. Curtis, thank you so much for all this knowledge that you're sharing with us. Honestly, I think it's super
Oh,
easy to grasp the way that you present it, and it's very actionable at the same time. Now, before we started recording, you told me that there is, dare I say, something a little bit new that you're working on. It's called the Anxiety Reframe Model. Tell us a little bit about it.
basically, it should, but by the time this airs, it will be on YouTube. Where we're gonna do that one for free. Basically, it's anxiety is a feeling or a thought that something bad is going to happen in the future. And so when we look out into the future at that event, we see something negative. So with the anxiety reframe model, what it does, it takes you through your timeline, allows you to float above your timeline to 15 minutes after the successful completion of the event you thought you were being anxious about, and see and sense yourself already achieving it successfully. And what happens is it releases the energy of it, and it changes the perspective, so that now we bring those feelings and emotions all the way back to now, into the present. And now when you get ready to do that event, you don't have that feeling of anxiety anymore. It takes less than 10 minutes. So with that, the recording is going to be on YouTube, and then they can do the free download, because I created a workbook that goes along with it. You remember, my part of my belief is that once a person releases some negative emotions, they need to do some actions, they need some conditioning. So I have a free workbook that they can go through the workbook to kind of help them condition themselves over the next week or two with the workbook. And obviously, if they want more, they can always contact me for more.
Of course. Curtis, amazing. Okay, so it's called the Anxiety Reframe Model. It's going to be on YouTube.
Yes.
We'll definitely link to your YouTube down below. We'll link to the website also,
Yeah.
because I'm going to be one of the people to download this workbook. No doubt about it. Curtis, as we start to wrap up here, I'm always curious to ask people about the theme of the show being around legacy, right? And
Right.
you're a very interesting entrepreneur. Tell me, what does legacy even mean to you?
I mean, legacy to me, it means really leaving people better than how I found them, and allow them to understand that, really employing what I call a legit mindset. And legit mindset is basically learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. And I think if a person can adopt that mindset, they can see that whatever they're going through at the moment, whatever they've been through, we talked about me losing my son 4 years ago. It was a learning experience for me. And so everything that we go through is that we learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. So what I would love to leave as a legacy is letting people know that the journey that we're on is a journey filled with opportunities for us to learn, to grow, expand, and transform. And if we can ever grasp that as a philosophy, we'll see that, especially when we've gone through something, when we look back on it, we'll see, wow, this is what I learned from that. This is how I grew from that. This is how I actually start to expand. And this is the transformation is I'm a much better person than I was before I went through what I went through. So that would be what I want to leave with individuals.
Curtis, thank you for sharing that, right? Your legit mindset formula: learn,
Yeah.
grow, expand, transform. The
Yes.
legacy you want to leave is just impact, right? Helping people to become better. And
Yes.
dare I say, you're already achieving it, and you have achieved it. Right? Something that I don't share often on the show, but I'll share with you right now, is that the concept of journey to legacy is that it is actually all about the journey. Because
Yes.
thinking that legacy is something that I need to accomplish in the future, well, that's a problem, because you might die today, and then all of a sudden your legacy just took effect. And so it's actually our acts every single day. And so, Curtis,
I love it.
Congratulations, my friend. Thank you for literally achieving your
Thank you,
legacy
man.
day in and day out. Thank you for being here today.
Oh man, it was my pleasure, Wayne. I mean, it really was. I mean, we talked about that last little part. I mean, it impacted me in a special way, and I'm moved, and so I really appreciate the fact that you're allowing me to be a part of your journey, part of your legacy, to kind of further this information with entrepreneurs and individuals.
And that's a wrap, everybody. As always, thank you so much for being here. I want to know your takeaways. Always, please send them my way. Any social media platform that you're on, shoot me what you thought about the episode. What a great synopsis. A big learning from me from this episode was that it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to not be okay and pretend that you are okay. Everybody out there, entrepreneurship especially, success, life, it takes a lot of hard work, consistent action. It's okay if you're not okay. The thing is, if you fall off of the wagon of putting in the work to become better, just simply hop back on. Like, Curtis is an expert in this area, and he himself admits that he fell off and got back on using one of his own bespoke daily mental supplements. Amazing. Everybody go check out his YouTube channel and this Anxiety Reframe Model, and then download the workbook that he mentioned as well. Thank you again for being here. My name is Wayne Veldsman. You've been listening to Journey to Legacy.